And we are back with more information regarding the renewed covenant from the Aramaic English translation. In the previous videos were then pointed out the importance of the Hebrew brothers to return to their camps, and the situation is not complicated because farmlands can be easily purchased. They can make up themselves stories stating that it's not easy for them to get around what they are doing. It's very easy. They can set up their own friends as Gentiles to take over their own trade, and they themselves can purchase farmland and start camps. It's not complicated. Because it must be brought in the perspective of the biblical understanding of the scriptures. It's not complicated. They can entrust their trade with the best, faithful Goyim friend of theirs, and then they can return to their camps. They can buy farmlands and start up camps. Very simple, uncomplicated, and very straightforward. So the situation is nobody's making fun of them or trying to make a situation being a down situation or any other area. They are biblical understandings that must be then obeyed. The situation with the war was absolutely awful, because they brought upon themselves. The outcome was awful. We hope it never takes place again. But then the fact is they must return to their camps. Because it's for their own benefit and for our benefit. While Shaul was preaching and teaching and showing them the relink, he also pointed a lot of people to their camps. So then the understanding in Romans, for instance, there is, let every soul be subjected to the authorities of the kingdom to come government. What was he saying? He was pointing those people with the state's questions to the camps. However, when you get there, subject your souls. And this was done throughout Asia. And that's why they are so solidly grounded these days. Because they were taught. And the Hebrews, they were in their camps. So the biblical understanding then was put into practice, and it worked. If you mix them, then we experience that it doesn't work, does it? Understand the layers of understanding of the prophetic teachings. The Asians, they were then smart in listening to the camps. They did use those trade markets values of the scriptures, and they prospered. And we ourselves are going to be behind a nation from Asia. Came from that area over there. China is related with the Asian society, because they were prospered through the teachings of Shaul, also from the people of the camp. The camps, they were teaching direct orders from heaven in what they should do, and they were not forced to tear in the throats. They simply obeyed what the Creator shared with them. And it became a day-by-day action adopting those Hebrew values in the market. That's why they are prosperous. And we in America, we do the contrary. We let the Hebrews go out and they mix themselves with the world, mix themselves with our country. They are responsible for many trades and markets when they shouldn't. And then the Gentiles, they get their jobs stolen from. And then we come up with our own ministries. Never works. And then we connive at each other. And then in 40 years we are going to be behind a country that learned from Shaul what we can't understand, and it's obvious in our Bibles. Quite interesting, isn't it? So then get yourselves a copy of the Aramaic. So then you can begin to understand what it means set apart versus the Gentiles. "40 years is a very short time. Plus we are entering into the revelation area. We understand that there's going to have lots of drought, high temperatures. At the very least we could do is preparing ourselves then to enter into revelation. And then we begin to understand that the unrest in the political world is going to be caused because then our nation is going to try to take over in the future, and then we can't anymore. The influence of the United States in the earth is going to end shortly in the next 40 years. Ending is not abrupt. Try to understand in layers. When you begin to understand in layers from the Hebraic understanding, it's never abrupt. What's going to take place, as we can understand it from the economy breaking, is our influence is going to diminish, and diminish, diminish, and diminish. Our monetary system is breaking. IMF already said the best is replacing the monetary system, because it's going to be then kept up with the world's market. We can't hold it anymore. So then the political unrest in the future is going to cause other nations to begin then to be more influential, and China is going to take over. Simple and plain. They have a very strong visionary emancipation wishes in the future. They have their hands in South America. Panama Canal is being extended. And they increased the trade with South America tremendously. And then there is the Trans-Amazon that goes from east to west in northern Brazil. And then they are thinking extending from south to north. Do you have any idea what this is going to cause? The linking up of the other nations up north. More trucks, more parts, more people, more merchandise coming in. And do you think where it's going to come from mostly? From China. And we are going to be a speck in a pocket. Our industry is ruined. We barely have any technology. Computers are known. And we are dependent upon the oil from other countries. We became adrift. And then we don't understand the biblical principles. So then what's the future holds? We're going to take orders from Asian countries. And a secular understanding is obvious. Imagine then in a biblical sense. We don't have even the capability of making friendships with Cuba, our neighbor. We are holding sanctions against them ever since the Cold War in the 60s. And nuclear capability during the time in the Soviet Union is far gone in terms of the political Cold War of the time. And we can't make friendships with Cuba. Do you think after 40 years then we are going to have any influence around the world? Absolutely not. What we are going to observe is the retrieving of our forces from the world's places. The economy can't hold it anymore. So this shows us the importance of this country to be firmly grounded in the true scriptures. So then we can prepare. 40 years is a very short time, and there is not much that can be done the next 40 years. The government is spending a whole lot more than should have. And then the problem is the printing out of more money. The market in quotes is being inflated with the paper money and then later no value. There is no industry or market that can back it up. And the gold standard is far gone. IMF is thinking on change the monetary system in America because the situation is dangerous. But then we go on thinking that this political elections goes on, and then healthcare plan goes on, and then another 4 years, another group comes in, and another group goes out, and they make their money, and then what about the markets of the world? What is our influence? What is our products out there? We barely have any products. Pointing out the facts, not trying to be negative, pointing out the facts. Showing the truth so actions can be made afterwards shows you love. Trying to cover up the truth is not having love, is it? We understand that the liberties that we have today in terms of internet is going to be under the control in the future. Because then our influence in the world is going to be in a what have you done so far basis. Didn't you say you are going to do this? Where is it? We have to hold to our words. That's the understanding of the Asian countries. If you say you're going to do it, do it. If you had a deal with a person and you can honor it, come and talk. So it either can be done or each person take what is own. Because this is what's coming in the future. Understand, China is not a superpower because of their own wishes. Because they had to diligently work. And we are dealing with cultures where they hold the words in value, then what you say must be done. This is what is awaiting us in the future. If we don't do what we say, we're going to be more and more going to be then with no customers. We can barely make friendships with Cuba, an island. There is no nuclear threat on the island. Why are we having sanctions against them for? And then South America, and then Venezuela. What is their viewpoint of us? Besides being a busted, broken country. What are we doing to make friendships with them? Not very much. We can't take a sanction from an island closest to us. Lots of renowned airliners are going down. And then rather than making friendship with the islands down there, so then can increase tourism. And then we maintain a hold of a sanction for no reason. Our country doesn't know how to make friends. We are power-hungry, stupid people. Saying this in a kind way because it shows very plainly what's going on in Cuba over there. That's our neighbor. We should be cherishing our neighbors. Don't you want to do to your neighbor what you do to yourself?